Okay. I think it's a good time to start. So, let me share my screen at this point. All right, awesome. All right. So, like I see, there's two people live. So, I want you to do me a favor, right? If you can hear me, I'd like you to just like put a comment in the comment box, right? So, if you're joining the stream and you can hear me, just put a comment there, and let me just know that you can hear me. I think we can. Then we'll take it up from there. Okay, so this is the first time I'm trying this. Hope it goes smoothly. Really hope it does. Let me just confirm that this stream is working, and then. All right, I think we have three people on the stream. All right, awesome. Can hear you. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. Um, all right, I would like to also confirm that you can see my code editor, right? So if you can see it, just comment again. I can see your code editor or something, and then we'll be good to go. Hi, Obikoya. So, like I was saying, if you can see my text editor right now, just put a comment like you can see my text editor. Yeah, haven't done this before, so pretty new at this. Let's see how it goes. Okay, you can't see it. Interesting. Okay, can't see it. Awesome. I'll try to fix that in a bit. I'm not sure why you're not seeing it. Hi, Williams. Hi. Nah, don't put from the stream. I just want to get my text editor on the screen. All right, cool. So I'll ask again, right? If you can see my text editor now. Um, okay, you can see it too. Interesting. Okay, I'm sharing my screen now. How is this not working? Let me turn off this one. Okay, so is the sound back? I believe the sound is back now. Yeah, I think the sound is back. Okay, awesome, awesome. So the last thing I want to confirm is is the size of the text on my text editor. Is it visible enough? Like, should I? Is it legible enough? Should I zoom in a bit? Too small. All right, too small. Let me zoom in. Zoom in. All right, zoom in. All right, I'm zooming in. I'm zooming in. 1 second. Is there any difference now, or should I zoom in again? Yes, sure, sure. It's recorded. It will remain on the channel after this. Sure. I just want to confirm that we have like everything okay before we go forward. Sorry, last question again before I start. Is the text visible enough? Is it legible enough? Should I zoom in or is it okay? I should zoom in again. Okay. All right, I'm zoomed in now. I believe this is comfortable, yeah? Oh, it's okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. This is pretty big for me here, but I guess I just manage it. Right. Um, I may need to zoom in a lot. I thought this was okay. Okay, so it seems okay now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. One last adjustment before we start. This is the audio. I just want everything to. Oh, yeah. So let me see if I can make the text editor cover more of the screen. Sorry for this like initial setup. I'm just using this for the first time, so you guys are my beta testers. Awesome, awesome. Okay, I think this is better. Yeah. Okay. I think we should just go right from this point, right? So if you can go on, just say yes, we can, and then zoom. I should still increase the font size. Hold on. This is gonna be really big. Okay, very much better. Awesome. As here, what I'm seeing is it's quite gigantic, but it's okay. I'll do it. It's going to disturb my eyes. Anyway, yeah. All right. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Um, yeah, I'm learning how this works. So I can even see that it is like a lot clearer on your end. So I think we'll just go ahead straight on. Um, welcome to today's stream. All right. I'll just do a bit of recap on like what we did the last stream, and then we'll take it forward from there. All right. Okay. So the last stream The last stream was, I mean, this the entire thing, like this particular series, or yeah, I'm just gonna call it series because I don't know what to call it. But this particular series is really about, just building a digital wallet, basically like a financial, what you call a fintech app, basically, right? So I just had the idea, like, you know what, why don't I just stream this down live and then see how, and then maybe just show people how, it is done, or how, like, what are the things to watch out for when we are, building these kind of apps. So, like I said earlier, or like I said last stream, I'm not going to be like recording, I'm not going to be writing like production ready code per se, but I'll make it clear enough and reasonable enough. Yeah. All right, so let's just get to the revision, right? So the last time we created a number of functions, right? I'll just go into the highlights and things that are most important, right? There were about 5 functions. There was one to create a user, there was one to do deposits, right? There was one for withdrawal, there was one for transfer, and there was one for reversal, right? So if you want to reverse a transaction, cool. So very, very quickly, we had like 2 functions that were really important, right? Credit accounts and debit accounts, right? Basically, if you look on GitHub, if you check the GitHub link, oops, I will put the, I don't know if I can still edit the description, I don't think so, but I will maybe just put a comment of the GitHub repository. Um, yeah, so if you check the GitHub repository, right, you'll see like these functions here. This code exists on GitHub right now, so you can see it there. The debit account function basically takes in a number of things, including a database transaction. And then, yes, I emphasized like the importance of database transactions as well. And then I also emphasize the importance of doing your increments and decrements on the DB, like as database operations, instead of read, write, and then writing back and then saving back to the database. Um, yeah, we created a number of tables as well, right? We had an accounts table that's like for the fintech accounts we're creating. We had a transactions table and we had a users table. So transactions table is where transactions are recorded. Users table is one that has user information. Accounts table is one that has account information. Yeah. So today, um, I just feel like we should quickly touch on, like, if you wanted to fund your wallet with a card, right? How would you go about it? I mean, of course, this would involve integrating with a card provider, a payment service provider, right? A service that can debit cards. Paystack is like my choice. So the documentation is somewhere here. All right. So yeah, they have a documentation at paystack.com/docs/API. Yeah, you find their entire API documentation there. So I'll be using Paystack for this, right? Initially, I'll just be looking at like the functions that they provide, and I'll be testing them, and then we'll now do like the proper integration. So I'll just quickly create a new file here and call it Paystack, or let me call it cart.js, not Paystack, cart.js here. So the Paystack charge endpoints takes in like a number of things, email amounts. This charge endpoint is quite, so email amount, yeah. So what I'll just do is I'll just try and test the endpoints. This is bank, but you can also send card details to this endpoint. I believe they have test cards, right? I'll go and let me just find where their test cards are. Let me see. I think I opened it once before. Yeah, Paystack test cards. Okay, someone wants me to explain why I'm doing the increment and decrement on the DB. Okay, so that's to avoid problems with race conditions, right? So if you're like doing it multiple, imagine that you are running like 2 concurrent increments at a time for some reason. Maybe you're using the, like someone is using your API, you get, and it makes like 2 concurrent transactions. If you read and just edit and write back, what can you run the risk of actually overwriting like the balance instead of like actually incrementing it. I don't know if that makes sense. So instead of seeing 2 transactions, you will see just one. And what will happen is that the later, the one that finished like later will just overwrite the one you did earlier. All right. Okay. So, but this is not the site where I hope that explains it. This is not the site where I saw those test cards. They had like a beautiful page. Uh, Sorry, I'm gonna find it in a bit. Just give me. Oh yeah, found it. Test cards. Oh no, this is still not it. There's a beautiful page like this that I found. Anyway, let's just go on. So yeah, there's some test cards that work on your test environment. So I'm just gonna try to quickly debit a card and see the response I get from them, right? So yeah, I'll just do. I'll use it as the package for this. Make the API call, right? I'll do something like gonna post here. This is where the URL should be. What's the URL for this? It should be API dot yeah, api.paystack.co/charge. Right. I'm also going to add this in the body. We have how Paystack API works is you have a body where you have the card, you have the card number, which is something like 48484848481. How many times I have to put in 48? So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Yes, expiry date is any date in the future. CVV is 48. Okay. CVV is 48. Expiry year is any date in the future, right? So 2022 is fine. And expiry month, I can just do 01, right? Yeah. Where have I made a mistake? Right. You also have to send the customer's email. So I'm just going to use the email to be something like I don't know, email at XYZ. Let me just use my own email because I mean my email is public information already. So yeah, it's okay. Yeah, right. And then I think you're supposed to add something else there. Email and what now? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yeah. So email and oops, I've lost the page again. I lost the page again. Sorry, give me a moment. Okay, found it. Yeah. I think that's all actually. So I just need to add email and amount, of course. Can you imagine? Yeah, I forget the amount. Amount can be something like the amount is usually in Kobo for Paystack. Yeah, so here you go. Let me see how I can run this one. Oh, sorry. So if I run this, oh, commit rejection, blah 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 blah. All right. Yeah, sorry. You're supposed to send headers. You're supposed to send the authorization key. Remember, so they have a secret key. If you could go to the portal and create a profile, what it looks like. Where's mine? Where is mine? Okay, yeah. You see this page like this. You can see a secret key that's there. So you're supposed to put a secret key as well in the header. All right. So it's supposed to be in the authorization header. So it's going to be like something like this. I think it's headers. Then authorization. You have Viera. Oops, I forgot something. I'm going to be loading an environment variable here. And I should just do this. So I already actually have the key in an environment variable. Right? So I'm just going to do this, Viera, and then the key, right? Should be process paystack. I think I said it was paystack authorization. No, paystack secret key actually. Yeah, cool. So this is going to return a promise. So I'm just going to do .then um, .then catch, right? For this one, I'm going to take the response here and just log. Sorry, I'm still testing here, so I'm just going to do the data here. For the error as well, I can't even remember what is really the error object, but it's something like error dot. Is it response now? Or it's something. Let me just log the error for now, since I can't remember what it is. Right, okay. So let me make the call in my editor here. Clear. Right. Oops. Error is not defined. My bad. It is here. Awesome. Card of number that replace is not a function. Yada yada yada. Okay, this is an error from the API. I don't even know what it means. Internal server error. Oops. Okay, so they are sending me internal server error. What do I do about that? Let me confirm the environment variable again. It's paystack secret key, right? Cool. And let me confirm from the docs that I'm doing this thing right. Authorization is bearer than your secret key. Yeah, I'm doing it correctly. I have this API documentation as well that shows me what to do. So email amount, card is this, yeah. So, I mean, now that their server is returning an internal server error, oh boy, this is interesting. So the cards, let me, because the body of card did not replace. Oh, this should be string. Like that. I mean, you should have told me what was wrong. All right, cool. So I get a response. Let me make this bigger so you can see it. Yeah. So I get a response that looks like this, right? Success is true. Message is charge attempted. And now a data object with a bunch of things, an ID, a domain. Sorry, so I'm doing test transaction, right? I'm using your tests environment. So I have message, gateway response, and all of that. Authorization. I'll tell you what this authorization is later. Right. And yeah, so this is response from Paystack, like when I debit that particular card. But I mean, there are different kinds of cards, and this is where like card gets interesting. So there's some cards you can just debit them straight, like without any extra info whatsoever. All right. So you don't have to put in the PIN or the OTP or whatever. You could just debit the card straight, right? So this is that kind of card. Um, there are other kinds of card, and Paystack like has done well to put like tests for those test cards for those different scenarios in their documentation here. So yeah, they have like the one that requires PIN and OTP, the one that requires only PIN, the one that requires PIN plus phone number plus OTP. I mean, and all of that. So they are the ones that fill with messages. Very detailed, right? Thanks to these people. They're good people. Right. Okay, so we have like done a basic debit of a card. So how does this like fit into the entire app? Right. So I'm just going to do it like I said in the last stream. So I'll do like an unoptimized version in quotes or the non-ideal one. Then I'll go over and do the ideal thing. So let's just quickly um, run. Let's just quickly like create an account and see what happens. But before we are even able to create an account, we need to like prepare our system to handle this kind this kind of transactions, right? So if you look at the transactions model, okay, sorry, my throat is dry. Yeah, so the purpose is either deposit, transfer, or reversal, right? Yeah, I think that I will try to not have to create a migration to adjust that, but I will just show you like how it will work. So I'm just gonna call this transaction a debit, right, for a lack of because I don't want to have to go through like expanding this. So I'll just call this a deposit, right? And it actually is a deposit, right? It's just a card type of deposit, but it's a deposit. But before you should, like, before I can even do this, I also have to make sure that I can, because if you check the response that I got, right, this that also has this reference. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yes, it is. Okay, that's not it. Yeah, data.reference. You see it here, right? They also have this reference that you can use to query their API at some other point. So if there's some issue or anything, that's like the reference you can use to query like to get the status of the particular transaction, right? So that reference should also be saved, ideally. Yeah, that reference should be saved. So what we can do is we can, let me just start. I'll first write a migration to like expand the. Let me just do it. I'll just expand the um, column for transactions, the table for transactions, right? So what's that command again? Equalize CLI. I think it's something like migration generate. Let the name be something like, I don't know now, what's the English I should use? Expand transactions table. Awesome. Created the migration for me. Thank you. Yeah. So I have an empty file here. Let me just quickly write the migration. I want to do two things, right? Um, I want to add a transaction for like external references, right? And I also want to, so I want to add a column for external references, and I also want to expand that column that I use for like transaction purpose, right? To include card funding. So let's do this. So you have query interface dot, is it add column now? I really hope I'm correct because if I'm not, you will throw the error. So the table name will be transactions table because yeah. The next thing I'm supposed to do is to add the fields that I am working on. Okay, so I'm supposed to add a column called, let me just call this external reference, right? An external reference will have like the following properties. It will be nullable. But now that I think of this, right, I think what I should do is create another table entirely where I card transactions, for example. Yeah. Instead of doing it this way and just trying to squeeze everything into one transactions table, I feel like I should have a separate table so that you can have more. Like number one, I don't want this table to like get very large, and then also you should also be able to store like certain details about the request you made to like your card provider and stuff. So I'm gonna just delete this particular migration, right? Let me just delete it and then create a new table. So let me generate a migration and call it create card transactions table. Yep. So create card, create, so it's created that now, right? Um, so, so. The next thing to do is to write the commands to create the table, right? So let's do that like right now. So I'm supposed to do query interface dot, here we go. So should create table. The table name, sorry. Cool. So the table name will be, let's say card transactions, and I just feel run a schema. Migrations can be such such stressful thing to write. The ID, let the type be will it be let me check something. So the type will be something like this. Let me just copy it from because yeah, I'm just gonna copy and paste this one because it's faster. Okay, cool. So ID is allowed here, key and all of that. So it has this ID. There's also this reference, or I'm gonna call it external reference, which also oh, run all defaults. It's not a primary key, so I take this out. It's also not an integer, it's a string. Auto increment, something like that. Yeah, so that's cool. What else do I want to do? Yeah, I should have like created at and updated at fields, but so let me just go and copy that as well. Created at and updated at right. Boom, 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 boom. There you go. Cool. I also will have, let me see. I created external reference, right? That will be the reference from like my card provider, right? Then so I can save this external reference as part of like the record in the transaction. Awesome. I think I'll just do it. All right. So I just want to confirm that like everybody's still in the stream. So if you're still with me, one more transaction, the other is not just focus. Okay, okay. So yeah, if you have questions, you can ask. Someone can say, yeah, someone can just answer, right? But yeah, so you're asking why let me just answer it myself. So you're asking what would be the difference between the transactions and the card transactions table. So the difference between card transactions table would have like specific details for card transactions that are returned from my card providers, right? So I mean, it's possible that I have like multiple card providers, right? So yeah, there's some people that have like more than one. It's also possible that I want to see like a lot more details that are simply specific to card, you know, card information basically. Maybe the CVV, although it to be encrypted. So I won't go into all of that. I won't go into encrypting cards and all that. But yeah, you could put in the CVV and what have you, and then just from there, you just continue like that. Yeah. So where was I? I hope that explains like why I have a separate table, right? I hope it does. If it does not, or if it does, just let me know in the comment section. Yeah. So let me go back to it. There's an external reference that is here. Um, yeah, I want to. Yeah, I can just leave it like this. Let me make things simple. I don't want to overcomplicate like this because it's just like just an MVP type of thing, right? So yeah, we can have this. For down, it's just gonna be query interface dot um, is it drop table or remove table or let me see. Will it be drop table? I believe it's drop table. Yeah, drop table. The table name will be what now? Card productions. So yeah, I think it's just it. So I should put a return here because it's supposed to return a promise. Okay. So I'm supposed to also return here. Yep. So I'm just gonna create this table with this migration. Very simple, very simple. Right. Okay, cool. So the migration has run now. The other thing I want to do is just quickly adjust that table to have like an extra purpose called card funding, right? So I'll also create a migration for that. Fund transactions table. There we go. So for this particular one, I'm just going to do query interface dot is it? What's happening now? Sorry, let me just confirm from the docs. Um, I want to adjust the column, but I can't remember like what the command is. Yeah. Okay, cool. It should be change column. Thank you. Change column. All right. So let's code editor. So current interface the change column. All right. And table name would be transactions. All right. And I'm supposed to also have like the schema. Do I want to change? I want to change the purpose. Remember, I mentioned that there's a purpose. What's it? Let me explain. Right. So there's a purpose field here that I want to expand. Right. So I'm just gonna copy this. Um, sorry, this should be sequelize. So, and I should also add into this. Right. Cool. And then for this, I will just do. Okay, in fact, let me just copy this and I'll just take it back to what it was before, right? Without the card funding. That makes sense? Yeah. So let me run the migration again. Oops, mistake. Can I route it to string of undefined? What did I do wrong? Change transactions, table here. Right. Purpose, the type should be this. Now I need to find out what I'm doing wrong. All right, so let me quickly visit the docs. This is going to be quick. Tables change name from the attribute name, the column name, definition for new column. So table attribute name. Okay, I made a mistake here. So it should be this, and it should be this, right? And then actually, does this make sense? Sorry, just give me a moment here. And you come out here, all right? Schema was already up to date, really. Purpose. So let me quickly confirm that from my database. I guess it ran into like an error or something. So let me bring my database into view. All right. So if I create the transactions table, right, the field is in there. Transaction, right? Okay, so the field is in there. I need to find out what's wrong. Sorry, I'm just gonna. I didn't put a return. Thank you. My bad here. Thank you. I knew someone would have helped me in the comments. Hope it wasn't too long before I checked. It's still saying no migrations were created. All right, so have the purpose field, have the type here, allow no. It shouldn't even be right. So let me so if you know what the problem is, you can just put in the comment and I'll see it. All right, but this would be nice to debug. So let me go again and check something. This shouldn't waste my time now. Come on. Right. Let me adjust this one too. This one too. Sorry. Okay. I need to remove the latest migration from the table. That's because I didn't undo it, right? So let me just undo it. Okay. All right. Done now. Let me confirm that it's working now. Okay. I think it's good now. We're good, actually, since I didn't have it here. Accounts, transactions, and if I refresh this guy, I have card transactions table. Okay. We're good to go. We're good to go. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me just confirm one more time that this enum is updated. Yes, card funding. Thank you. Thank you. It works. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So let's go forward. We are now going to try to make it an actual card funding like, process. So the first thing to do is okay. So we already have. Let me just write a. I'll just leave it like this for now. I'll refactor it, but I will try to now actually credit an account and like help you see what it looks like. So let me import because of course it's a credit, right? So I'm going to just do this. Um, right. There's going to be a credit user function, credit account rather, not credit user. My bad. So credit user. So once this is done, I'm going to do in the dot then, right? I'm going to now do this. I'm going to say, let me see the results here. Sorry. So if response dot speedups is true, right? That should actually just credit the person, right? Um, you know what? Let me just write the function to do this properly. I don't even like how this is looking. So function, um, let's call it charge card. That card will take in like a number of things. It will take in CVV. Sorry, it will take in the card pan. It will take in expiry month. It will take in the expiry year. You should also take in CVV. Let's assume that the email is constant, so I won't put that. Let me just put that in agreement. Right? Let me just put it email, and most importantly, it's gonna have the amount. Right? Cool. So, quick question: is this supposed to be a relationship between transaction and cash transaction stable? Yeah. I mean, there will most likely be a one-to-one relationship between the cards, between the transaction and cash transaction stable. The key that you will use will be the reference key. To be honest. So reference in transactions table would be, um, let me see what it looks like in that other table. Yeah, so reference in this transactions table would be, let me look for the name in the other table. Oh, I've not even created the other one yet. I'll do that in a bit. Will be, that field is not even here. Uh-oh. But thanks for actually putting that. Let me just put it here. Let me now say, no, you know what? Instead of doing this, right, instead of creating a relationship to avoid stress, right, as for the sake of this stream, what I'm going to simply do is I'm going to just put the external reference here. But because the transactions transaction model has a metadata field, right? So I can put like any JSON object. So I'll have like an external reference there, right? I think that will even be like so because as much as possible, I like to avoid like joins except extremely necessary, and I don't want to have to add that to the migration too. So for the sake of this stream, yeah, I will just leave it as metadata within the transaction. And it makes sense actually. It's not a problem. Right. This one just tells me I mean there are many many other things I can save here, to be honest, but like I don't think I want to have to do all of that now to save me this stress. Right. I hope that's clear, Sha. I hope it's clear. You can just put a comment to let me know. Okay, so let me go back to the code. Right. So card, yeah. Takes in the amount, span. All right, and then we're now going to do this in a try catch. All right, so let me copy everything here up onto this point. Sorry, my screen is dancing around. I'm just trying to move stuff. I'll be done quickly. Right. All right. Let me make this async because I'm going to be using await within this function. All right, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you. All right, so the number would be an expiry year would be expiry year, expiry month would be expiry month, CVV would be CV, and let me see what else. Email would be email, and amount would be whatever amount applied. Right. Let me read my terminal for a bit. I'm going to do this because I'm going to name this argument what. Let me just call it charge. All right, and I'm going to await this. Now I'm going to say if charge dot status, the return boolean, so if it's true, right? If I just want to be safe, maybe I can do this drop value because I mean just in case they go and change it to a string, really. Yeah. So if this is true, what do I want to do? I want to now credit the account, right? So it means that this charge card function will also collect the account ID. Account ID. Cool. So the first thing to do would now be to await credit accounts. Credit account will take in the following. It will take in amount. Amount is the amount that was sent. Account ID is account ID. The purpose will be card. We call it card funding. Sorry, let me just confirm what we called it. Yeah, card funding. Cool. So we call it card funding, right? Yes. The transaction component, Saturday transaction. The reference here will be my own reference that is auto-generated, right? It's an optional, I believe it's optional, so yeah, it will generate it by itself. Metadata, right? I can now say external reference can now be charge dot data dot reference. Okay, what else? That's all. So I'm going to start the session here. I'm going to do this. Okay, so that's also important. No, don't do that. Because require models. Right, I think I can just do this. I don't have to do slash index. Let me just confirm that there's no question for me. All right, there's no question. Cool. So this is it. So here I'm just gonna do model.sequelize dot transaction. I believe this is it, and I'm supposed to await this. So let me just confirm from like the other things we've done that this is correct. I believe it is. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, models is equivalent to transaction. Okay, awesome. That's correct. Cool. All right, so I'm just going to pass in that transaction here. That's that. Right. Apart from crediting, I also want to record this particular transaction. So, well, you know what? Let me just finish writing it, and I'll go and create the account. I'll go and create the model rather. Models dot we call it card transactions table, right? I'm gonna create a new record here. Where I'm just gonna do sorry. There's just an ID, an external reference. Okay. So I'm just gonna make the external reference here. Start with data.reference. Right? What else does what else should I pass in? User data on that should be I'll make them auto-generate, so I don't have to pass them in. Right, but I think that's the only thing I'm creating. Yeah, created that and updated that should be automatically created. But I did not put I'll add that in a bit. All right, so card transactions table. Let me just copy this. Okay, I'm not copying from here. No, I'm not. Okay, I'm not. Yeah. Where I'm going to copy from, I want to copy the model so I don't waste time. I'll just make a few adjustments. Right. And I'm going to name the model cash transactions. Right. Okay. Yes. Never forget the file extension. All right. So because I can't really hear feedback, right? I would just want to make sure that you can still you're still following. So you can just put a comment in the comment box that says, "Okay, I'm still here." Something. So I know that you're still here. This is difficult because I'm just talking to myself. All right. I don't want to put any associations here. So let me just remove this. Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna call this card transaction. Alright. Alright, following me. Awesome, thank you. So card transaction is here. The ID is gonna auto implement and blah. I'm gonna have a reference field. Where is it? This type is a string type, and it is going to be unique, I believe. I didn't add the unique constraint, but I mean, for the sake of again, for remember this is just a demo. We just want to see things work like right now. So as to whether I should make this unique or not, I mean the reference should be unique. So let me leave it as unique to them. Let me leave it as unique. Let me see. So it's external reference actually that's a string. External reference. All right. So it's not reference, it's external reference. So I can remove all of this and then leave my created out and updated out. I'm going to name this card transactions underscore is true and return card transaction. Bravo, I am done here. Right. I'm not using this. Okay, cool. So let's go back to the code. Where's that card? All right, awesome. Send it. All right. So I mean, we have the function called charge card. It makes a request to PayStack's API to charge the card. We start the transaction. We then, if it's true, that means the transaction was successful, right? We credit the account and also create a record there in this model, right? I mean, this is like very bare bones. Ideally, I should also be adding the amount and stuff, but you know what? like I said again, this is just I'll probably make those additions. So maybe like in another 2 days, I will now like put updated code with like the very, very proper thing. But for the sake of this, let's just do this. Right. I don't even want to I don't even have to do this to be honest. Let me move it. Right. So cool. So I'm going to do this. If everything goes well here, nothing breaks, I'm just going to you know what, let me put it back. I'm just going to commit the transaction. Let me never forget to mate. I should have wait, not mate. And return something like charge successful. No, no, no. Success will be true. The message would be something like charge successful. And the what else again? I don't think I want to return anything else for this. So if there's a problem, I have to move this transaction out of the transaction actually. So let me hmm, let me move it up. Okay. So that it's accessible within the cache block. This thing doesn't feel aligned. Anyway, I'll find it soon if I get it wrong. There are two problems here. I just think that I was doing something wrong. If we don't value empty block statements. Okay. Don't worry, I don't worry. Yes, it's just crying everywhere. I'll fix it, I promise, I promise. So for this one, I'm going to roll back. Okay. And I'm going to return the error. Something like that. Or let me just, yeah, I'll just return the error. Right? Yeah, I think we are good now. Awesome, we're good now. So I'll try to run this code and see what it returns. So I'm going to say charge card. Mm-hmm. I already have like existing account, so the account ID will just be one. The PAN would be 484848484881, right? What am I doing? Sorry. Account ID will be one. The card PAN will be 151, right? The amount would be something like 10,000. The CVV is supposed to be 4 weeks, right? Email, I'm just gonna put this there. Expiry month can be any month. Expiry year can be any year in the future. So let's see. All right, so I'm gonna do this. Then I'm going to just log whatever was returned and catch whatever was returned. Awesome. All right, so let's run this. Right, so load card. Nothing. Sorry, I made a mistake here. All right, cool. Success true, charge successful. So if we check, let's check our database for that now. See how it works. So in the card transactions table, oops, there's no record. Interesting. But let me check the transactions table. There's a record. There's a credit. No, there's no record. We didn't record our transaction. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so I'm definitely doing something wrong. Let me go and check. My console is in them block. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's not even the problem now. Um, Credit account is supposed to create records, right? And so let me do something. Hmm, I'll just use my debugger instead of doing this, right? Because it's easy for me to see like status of things per time. So in that case, I'm going to say const credit should be here. I want to see what credit is at this point, right? And I did not even use um complement unnecessary things. Wow, what does ESP going to do now? Okay, yeah, console.log then back. Okay, so I'm going to use my debugger for this one because it's easy for me to stop and start. So I'm just going to change this to card, and I'm going to start the app. Right? Uh-oh. It just goes straight ahead and says card successful. So I need to find what's going on. Let me first see how I'm calling the function, but then, yeah, that's successful. Right? So I'm waiting here. If the status is true, if this is true, this again and see what's happening. All right. Yeah, charge the status. Oops. Oh, I see. So it's the status. Okay. Uh, this is why the people guys is so useful. So let me rerun this. All right. Charge the data. Yeah, this is true. And I'm going to also create this. Yeah. Aha. So there's an error here. Not null. Card transaction created that cannot be null. I thought I already set it to automatically put a default value in there. Right. Okay, so we're making progress. So let me confirm what is here. Yeah, default value is there now. Now. Yada, yada, yada. Well, am I supposed to put in a migration? Let me confirm that. Create transaction stable. Created that, updated that. Yeah, I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to. Sorry, let me also confirm something. Underscore is true. Yada yada. Created that. Hmm. But it's still saying created that cannot be null. You know what? Just to save us time, or should I? I don't know why it's leaving like this. Does anybody know? If you know, please just put a comment. But if you don't, or rather in the absence of like any, I'm just gonna write it like manually. So, in this place, I'm just going to do this. Should be did new date or date of now. So this is something I will try to debug and then fix when I'm updating the code, like maybe like tomorrow or the day after. All right, so let's run this again. Yeah, successfully charged the card. Create is done. Oops. External reference does not have a default value. Wow, but I'm putting it here. All right, let me find out what's going on. Or have I not run it? I have run it. All right, I've run it. Yeah. External reference. So, since you only defined it in the model. Yeah. My bad. Sorry, I don't want to have to like because it's not like core to what we are doing. I will make all the updates. I think you need to set the default value in migration. Yes. I'll do all of that when I'm pushing the code back. Sorry, this is just for like string. So I just want to focus on like the actual logic of the app, and yeah, I'll get to that. I'll get to doing that later. Right. Well, thank you. Models of cards, this, the create. Yeah, so I'm trying to find out why this is not working. It's telling me that there's no default value, but I mean, I'm setting the value. So chart.data. Oh, sorry, it's .data. Then so .data. I think there's a reference somewhere. I can't find it. Yeah, the reference. Okay, come down. Awesome. Ah, external reference doesn't have a usable value, but I'm creating it now. Oh, sorry. I found it. Be here too. I think this is the last time you should run this. I mean, yeah, this happens in real life. So, oops. So yeah, the data. Yeah. Okay, cool. Track successful. If I look at the database, so I can't zoom in on this database. I don't know why, but yeah. So I have external reference here, and I also have a new transaction record with the balance properly updated. Right? Yeah. So you see the metadata here. External reference is this, and the purpose is card funding. So you also notice that the balance has gone up, right? So the balance before is this, balance after is now this plus one plus 10,000, I guess. Um, yeah, because we added 10,000. We created with 10,000. So this is like how credit actually works, right? What happens is an API for a card processor is called, and then if it's successful, they just do an increment on your balance like I just did, right? And if failed, then they probably just show you the error depending on what the error is, right? Cool. Ah, so the next thing to do is now for cards, right? The thing about cards is this: there are actually like various scenarios for. There are various. Oh, I'm killing it. Oh, thank you, Caleb. Thank you. That's so encouraging. Thank you. All right. So the thing for cards is there are like actually different scenarios, right? They're different. Like I was saying earlier, there's OTP, there's all of that. So let me see if I can just code all of that into like, what's happening here. So this function is going to be long, but I'm going to see it through. Right. Let's just check documentation again. Right. Paste that documentation itself. All right. Right. So yeah, API reference go. So that's what we just did is like create charge, right? So there are now different, you can submit pin and all of that. Now, if he returns, I believe that, let me see if they have varying, yeah. So what they will return if you are supposed to submit a pin would be something like this, right? Success is true, and then you have data the reference, but you also have data the status. All right, cool. So what we would do is we'll just like handle these cases, right, and see how it goes. Mm, sorry, 1 second. Let me look for the sorry. I'm mistakenly clicking. I need to just find the card like this card. I cannot find it. Why? Sorry, give me a moment. Mm, okay, let's just go on. I think I opened it somewhere else. Yeah, I opened it here. Cool. So awesome. So we are going to go to another type of card, a card that requires PIN only, right? And we'll just be building on it little by little by little. So let's go with this card that does PIN only. Let me see if there's any comments. Is it just me or the audio is gone? Oops, I hope the audio is not actually gone. So can someone else like reply if the audio is gone? I don't know. I wouldn't know really. Okay, good now. Okay, awesome. So let's go. Let's just use a card that is just PIN and see how it will behave. Right. So if it was just, let me just put the card details in and we'll continue. So for PIN only, right, it's 5078 5078. All right, in 4 places. And then the last 2 digits is 1, 2. Are we the same amount? The expiry date here, CVV is 081 and PIN is 111. 081. All right, so I'm going to call this function again for a card that requires PIN. What I want us to see is what the response will look like, and then we'll adjust our logic to, fit that. All right, so let's do it. Let's run the code now. Yeah, so charge.data. So you can see it has a .data and then the data that has the reference, but then it now says status send PIN. Can you see that? Cool. So we'll be adjusting our reference to say, okay, because you don't want to credit the user when they have not sent PIN. From the current logic, right? If that's not the case, then just goes on and just credits. The person has not authenticated the PIN. So you just dash somebody free money and that's the end of your startup, basically. So I'm going to stop the execution of this. And but I need to run it because I didn't note the field. Sorry. So I believe it's supposed to be charge dot data dot. Okay, so let me just log that data. There we go. Charge dot data. Let me also log charge. Okay, charge dot data is fine, right? That is true. Then it now further has the status that is sent in. All right. So let me stop it. All right, so let me go on and fix this. So from the logic, if chart.data the status is true, all right, I'm now going to check for what this data the status is, right? So I'm going to do something like this. If the charge dot data dot status, right? If it's sent PIN, right? What I'm now going to do is I'm going to ask my user to send, right? So I'm going to return success is true. Messages is now you can easily think that this is the end, but it is actually not, because in the request to validate like the PIN, you have to actually record, you have to send back the reference originally sent, because that's how Paystack will be able to track the PIN. So we need to create this card transactions. So you see that this original model that we have created is not enough, right? Because this model doesn't tell you the transaction was successful or anything like that. But again, like I said earlier, please pardon me. This is just like I just want us to demonstrate the logic, right? And then we will. I mean, I will optimize. I will do all the additions I need to make, and then push the code like tomorrow or maybe on Monday, so that you will see the. I'll let you know on Twitter, right? You can follow me on Twitter if you don't. So you get the updates on when the code is actually updated. Or you can also go on the repo and then you can watch the repo. So once there are updates on the repo, you know. Cool. So, but just for the sake of, like I said, for the sake of education, please let's just do this one. So the first thing now, like I was saying earlier, right? Send pin. But before you send the pin, you actually want to record that reference. So I'm going to copy and paste this. This code is a bit messy, I know. Pardon me. I will fix this in the update. Right. Um, cool. But I won't need a database transaction here, to be honest. But let's just take it one at a time. I don't want it to sound like a broken record yet. I will push the updated code that is more properly done. Right. So yeah, to await. Anyway, so I'm going to await this. I'm going to create it in this, and I'm going to note the reference so that I can reuse it later. So if it's send pin, there are two things I want to do. I want to create it here so that I can use it later, and I also want to return. And why I'm creating it here is because think about it in the context of an API on a response. Your front end has called your backend, right? Now your backend has to report to your front end. Your front end still has to send that reference to you for you to know like which card, which cooperation are you continuing basically. So that's what we are saying, right? This has been awesome. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Let's return here. So if you send pin, do this, right? So. For lack of await.commit. Right, I'm just going to await.commit here, even though I should have done. Yeah. Okay. So let's run this code and hope that everything goes well. We are supposed to be told to enter pin, right? So I've run the code now. Yep. So this is true, and this is send pin. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So it says please send pin. I expect that record to have been created here, right? In yeah. So this is the reference for this new transaction. You can see here, right? Cool. So and Paystack has an endpoint for like to continue the authentication. So where is it? 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 The Paystack has said that when you want to like submit PIN, there's a way to do it, right? So you make an API request to this endpoint with this with the reference and the PIN itself, right? So let me go back and just update our function to do that. Cool. I'm now going to create a function called submit PIN. Let me comment first. And also do this, right? Let's call it function called submit pin, or should I do pin? Pin, please, right? This function will take in two things. We will take in actually three things. We take in we take in the account ID because at this point it's possible that I want to credit the person if the card only requires pin. I don't know, so if the card only requires pin, then yeah, I most likely want to credit. So we take the account ID, we take the reference, and we will take in what now? Amounts, right? Um, let me confirm that that's all I need. Let me confirm. Yeah, reference and the pin itself, definitely. And the pin. I'm also not doing any validation so that we can move fast. I will do that when I'm updating the code. Okay, so cool. We have a function called submit pin, right? And what we are going to now do is make a call to paystack axios.post. I believe the URL is this slash submit pin api.paystack.co. Sorry, let me confirm. Paystack.co slash charge slash submit pin. Okay, so slash charge slash submit pin. I'm gonna put the body here. The body would is just two things: the reference, which is the reference that we sent here, and also the pin. right? Which is the pin, right? So I'm going to do this, right? And then I'm going to be repeating some code here. This 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 particular function is going to be somehow repeated, but I will update it later. So pardon me again because I'm going to depend it. I'm going to just collapse all of this into one function, obviously, because it becomes very necessary. But for now, let me just place this here. We'll work out the connection later. All right, so let's go. All this should be inside the try catch ID. So I can move everything and put it inside. And I think I'm gonna, okay, I can't turn off these things because it helps me. Well, let's see how it goes, yeah. Let's see how it goes. So yeah, let's just start to work the logic from up. Now, because we know beforehand that this is only going to accept pin, right? So I'm going to write this function like that, but I will change it later. So basically, I know that once you submit pin, that's the end. It's not going to ask for OTP for this card. Good. In the real world, you won't know, right? You never know. The card can ask for whatever, right? Let's assume that we know that's only pin that this card requires. So after we make this charge request, oh, I'm supposed to put in the header. How did I miss that? We have authorization to be there. Why do I always spell Gera wrongly? Oh my god. Um, okay, so we make the call. If charge.data.status is true, or let's even see what the response is. All right. But to do this, I'm gonna have to call the function. So let me try and submit the pin. I hope that this transaction has not even expired or something. All right. And I'm going to return the error. And it's C is not even defined at all. So I'm going to do this. Right. So I'm going to just set breakpoints here and see what it sends me. I hope that that reference has not expired. Right. So let me try it. Submit pin. Um, account ID should be something like 1. The reference should be, what's that reference? So let me take the reference from the DB. 1 second. The reference here. Right. And the next thing I want to put in is the amount. So because I originally sent an amount, but my bad, I did not. I should have noted that in that my what's happening. I should have noted that in like should have been that amount I'm taking care of in this card transactions table to be honest, but I did not put it in, and I think the amount was 10,000. Right? And then what else? Pin, very important. From the documentation, the pin is sorry, I have to keep dancing around. What's the pin? What's the pin? Pin only, yeah, pin is 1111. Okay. So let me put the pin is 1111. Awesome. This is coming together really nicely. Um, so I'm going to do this again. And also, yeah, like this. Right, so let's call this function and see what it returns as the result. So start the app and right, okay, awesome. So we have chart.data dot okay, you're successful. So we have chart.data. Let me look at this closely. Charge.data, right? It has a message charge attempted and status is true. And then there's now another data object inside that now actually tells us like success, that the status is actually success, and then it tells us what the reference is, the amount, paid at, and all of that. So here we have like a successful charge here. So what we are just going to do is adjust this a bit. If charge.data, right? If charge.data dot status is success, right? Then we'll go ahead and credit. You get it? Data dot status is success. Then we create. No, okay, we are not creating because we already did, right? So I'm going to comment this out, but we're actually going to do the credits. So I'm going to just copy all of this, cut it from here, and paste here. So if it's success, credit the account, commit, and do this. If not, this instead of abort, it should be rollback. Sorry, I use Mongoose as well. Mongoose does abort. So, confuses that's the source of my confusion. So let's try this again. Oops, what did I do? Wrong breakpoint. Okay, nothing. So chart.data, the status is true. Chart.data, the status is success, right? So we are going to credit the account and then commit the transaction. Oh, please send PIN. Sorry, this should have been deposit successful, right? But anyway, if you check the database right now, you'll find another transaction. So you see here, another one, card funding, right? Where the external reference is that, and the balance also increased again, right? You can see here by another 10,000. So if you get me up to this point, you can just put it in the comment like, okay, this is great or something, or you know, oh, I get you. You can go on. So I'm just going to wait till I get that. I know there's going to be some lag between like my speaking and your hearing, but I'm going to wait for you to uh, finish or to respond. Yeah. So I hope it's good up to this point. I hope it's good up to this point. Let me wait for a bit. Oops. I think this will be fun. What time? Okay, so we've done 1 hour 30 minutes. We have just 30 minutes left. I think what we are going to just do now is I'm going to try to refactor that function here to see how it would look like if we were doing like the proper thing, right? So, all right. If we were to look like here, submit pin, expected to return at the value, whatever. I'll tell you later. Okay, so what I want to do is we understand now that you can ask you to submit PIN or submit, OTP or whatever. So let me see if I can do the proper thing right now, and then that's where we'll just end it. Um, Ideally, you would also have like a webhook that confirms transactions, but if I can't do it in this stream, I will do it in the next one, right? But let me quickly just see where I refactor this. Right. So we are supposed to have. Let me collapse everything. Um, then you have to comment this out. The flow, there are a few similar things here, right? But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to send the result of the charge to a function that now tells me whether I should credit or not. Yes. So how? Let me just write the function so you see that it makes sense. For lack of a better word, I'm going to call this function something like process pay stack payments. Uh, process. Let me call it card payments result. Right. Process card payment result will take in a single argument. This data is going to be like the response from paystack, right? So what I'm going to check for, let me look at the API to be sure. Oh, so for the submit pin, I actually did send the pin. Yeah, so you see it, pin is 1111. I actually did send the pin. Yeah, you see it here. 111. Yeah. So let me go back to the documentation to be sure what the response is usually like. So when there's a successful charge, right? When it's a successful charge, you have status to be true, and you have data the status to be success, right? So that's the first thing that you notice, right? So let me put it there. So you're going to be checking if the sorry if the status is true, or yeah, if it's true, and the data dot what now status is success. But you know what? Because we are checking for a number of conditions, should I use a switch case? How do you even write switch cases again now? I don't use switch very often. Okay, cool. So I'm going to switch. Oh, I'm checking for two things. So yeah, but I can do that. You know what? Let me just do if for now and change it to switch later if I need to. So if status is true and this is also success, then I get to credit the user. But I don't want to credit the user inside here. So I'm going to do something like this. To be true, I'm also going to say something like credit user should also be true. So it tells the caller function that okay, you should actually credit the user with completed the charge. If not, right, I'm going to check what this is. I'm now going to say, in fact, if it's not true, let me start the logic properly. If data dot status dot data the status is not even true at all, right? I don't know what will cause that, but let me confirm. Let me confirm my documentation. Is there any point where it doesn't return true? Let me see. If it failed, oh, it always returns true, so there's no point even using it. I think it always returns true to show that your request was processed. Yeah, it always returns true, so there's no point even using it, right? Cool. So let's take it out of there. If status is success, do this. If not, like, so let me check for if it failed, right? If you failed, you have status to be failed. Okay. So if it's not true, return, I'm going to return this, right? Success, be false, an error would be, did they return an error? Data dot reference, data dot message. Cool. So it will be data dot, so it should be data dot date status, actually. Yeah. If it's not success, right? The error will be data data dot status dot message, sorry. Right? Cool. Now, if not, I don't need this condition here. If it's not success, do this. Now, I'm going to start doing some checks, right? To check for if it's send PIN or send OTP or whatever, right? So let me actually just do the switch, please. Yeah. So switch data the status, right? If it's failed, then what you should do is return. I'll just copy this. Yes, we nice to make nice. So much nice. So yeah, if it's failed, return this. If it is success, you should credit the user. So I'm going to return an object that says success is true. I will use something like true credit account user. Credit account also be something like true. And the message will be sorry. The message. Yeah. Okay, cool. If it's success, return this. If it is send OTP, or really for any other thing, right? So that I don't. No, let me deal with everything here. Let me deal with everything here. I'm going to be sending back. Let me think about this quickly. So what I'm thinking about is, should I just return if it's not success, right? Should I just return something like should credit account be low, and then just return the message? Yeah, I think I should do that. I should do that. So for anything else, all right, what I want to do is still return, but this time I will do something like should credit account will now be false, right? And message is still the same. Cool, awesome. Now I think we can move forward. So we have an object that does this processing here. If this the data the status, so I'm just going to be sending in what this tag sends into this place. So let's go to our charge card function and start and use this our new function and see how it works. Okay, I know that ESLint is going to complain about me using a function before declaring it, so I'm going to move it up. Right? Cool. 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 Right. Awesome. So okay, this okay, we're still following. So I have this function here, charge card. Right. So we created a function here. We are going to try to charge the card. That's the initial attempt, right? And then all this logic, right? We are going to comment this out first. First, right? Then we are now going to pass what we get from paystack to that function. So I would say cost something like next action will now be process card payment results. And I'm going to pass in this data. So it should be twice. So let me confirm if I'm doing the data. Okay, so yeah. So I'm just going to pass in that, right? Um, if next action, if success is false, right? I know that, okay, there was an error. So I'm just going to return, first thing I'm going to abort the transaction, right? Or roll back the transaction. So see that rollback, and then I'm going to say something like return success is false. Um, success, okay, you know what? It's already false here. Right? And then the error will be exactly. This is it. Right. So let's go on. But if it's success, now we need to also now check if it's like if we should credit the user, right? If it's success, so if the next action dot should credit accounts, if it is true, then we want to do um, this. See that? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think this makes sense so far, right? Wow, this space assignment to very good credit. Second, all right, so let's go on. So yeah, so if next action is to credit the account, I'll wait this. And is there anything else I want to do? Let me think about this. So regardless of what happens, right, I still want to actually create that record. I know it's not the like very proper thing. I'll refactor, but um, so far so good. I think we can just manage that. So if it's this, I'll wait this one. And this code is scattered. I'm going to be very happy if it runs like properly on the first try because that's going to be better in my opinion, right? So sorry is a bit messy. Refactoring, so that's what refactoring really looks like. So let's go through the logic again. Right, everything is so messed up. Let me remove this. Right. Let me also comment this out. I just want to make sure that like I have things like my closing braces and all of that correct. This is correct. Cool. Try catch. Cool. What's this doing here? Awesome. Okay, so let's go. I thought it's supposed to be next action dot message. Sorry, let me confirm that. Um, so let's see. Well, yeah. So how it works is for this function, how I did it was if it's an error, right? If it was an outright error, like if the success is not okay, I see what you're saying. If it's failed, if success is false, here to be error, right? If not, we will now be checking if the credit account is true. Then if it is true, we'll now do message. Yeah. So that's how it should work. But that's how we wrote it. Let me be specific. So if next action is if there's no success, do this. If there is success, right, we now want to check if we should credit the account. Right. If we are supposed to credit the account, then we'll now go ahead and do something like credit account where we have the amount, the account ID, metadata if any. Okay, I'll set the metadata. The purpose will be card funding. The reference would be a reference optional. It will automatically generate that for me. So for metadata, I would say external reference should be this. Cool. Account ID should be account. The transaction is there. Cool. All right. So if we should credit the account, just credit, right? Um, then I should also now create this. Hmm, yeah. Sorry. We want to create. We want to always create the error regardless. Sorry, the record in the transaction record transaction statement. So you know what? Instead of doing this here, let me even put it up. No, let me do this here. So I'm trying to decide if he fails. Ideally, if he fails, you want to still write it to DB as a failed transaction, but we didn't even like make the transaction. We didn't make the table like accept all of that. So for now, I'm just going to assume that if he failed, just like roll back the transaction. So let me also write this here. So I'm just going to put this right somewhere up like this. Sorry. Yeah, I'm just going to await this first. Then if there's just something rollback, if not, also await this. Once I've done this, I'm not doing any write to the DB, so I can just await the commit at this point and return success to be true and the message to be charge successful. Right. Okay, awesome. There's no message on it, so let me continue. Right, so I can do this. Right, so if we are creating the account, go ahead and credit and commit and then return this. If not, we are now going to check next action, right? So if the next action dot uh, if dot message is now something like send pin, I see how this is coming together now. If it's send pin, then I'm going to call submit pin. Now, ideally, though, remember that if your user was, if it was a back and forth, you would be doing like this because you are going to send a response, you have to submit the pin, you're going to have another endpoint that does all of this. But I want all this to go on in one flow. That's why I'm doing it in one function. So I'm going to submit the pin, right? The account ID is the account ID. The reference is the reference. No, the reference is, sorry, let me confirm something here. The reference is supposed to be the external reference, though. Yeah. So the reference, because, yeah, reference is supposed to be this. What else? The amount is supposed to be the amount, and the pin should be 1111. To make this faster for us, I'm going to, you know, let's just, something was used before it was defined. Now, wow. Yes, it's come down. Right, cool. Cool. All right, so I have the mid pin here. Let me quickly modify this function now. So if I'm submitting this pin, what do I want to return? If I'm calling submit pin, first I'm not doing the crediting anymore. So I think I'm just going to return. The first thing to this remote is if we're not using it at all. right? So if there's a chart that there is success, I think I just want to return without stressing myself too much. I think what I want to return from this function will just be whatever base stack sends me back, right? I'm going to have to look at that chart card function again, right? So what I've said is if this, I'm going to send the result to this. If it is, do I even still need? Okay, yeah, I still do. So if we should create account, I'm going to assume that this goes well. But I did not even handle the case for if you should not credit the account. Okay, I did. If it's sent pin, await this, right? Um, when I await this, I'm going to have again. I'll still have to refactor the function again actually, but I'm just going to handle pin for this for the sake of this particular string, so it doesn't get too long. I'm only going to handle pin submission. So um, the same condition again. If I'm going to await submit pin, right? If results dot if, what am I going to return from this submit pin function? I have to decide that first. Let me see. So let's say if charge data dot data dot success dot status. If it's success, which is most likely what is going to be if everything goes well, right? I'm basically going to return something like success to be true. I'm going to return message to be charge successful. I'm also going to do something like, I know that this looks like a mess right now, but I just want you to get the concepts. I also say should get user to be true, right? Cool. So I'm going to call submit pin, and then if charge the data. Why is it calling me business now? What do you do for it? Yeah. If this is correct, right? So if this is success, if not, just return something like success to be false. No, I think what to be true, right? I want it to now be the message now be a message, and then should create the account will be false. So let's go over this. Why is it unused? It's not unused now. Does that mean I'm doing something wrong? So just to be sure, I'm going to try to fix this. I knew it. I knew it. Okay, there are some errors. It's fine. It's fine. I'll work them out. All right, so let's go back to the code. So this is becoming long. Let's see. Okay, so this try doesn't have a cache. That's one of the errors that I'm facing. Right, so cool. So if I do this here, yeah, it fixes a bunch of it. Try catch here, and then I have a closing brace for the function. Fish. Oh, go, nice, nice. Okay, so we are making progress. So let's go through the logic again, and then we'll go and continue. So the first thing we do is when we call this charge card function, we try to charge the card, right? And then the next action will now be to send the result of the charge to this process payment with process card payment results function. If everything goes well, okay, so first we create the record in card transactions, and then if this function does not return a success, we roll back the transaction and return, the error. If it does, and we are supposed to credit the account, we go ahead and credit the account, right? If it does, but we are not supposed to credit the account. So if the message is sent PIN, what we now want to do is call this submit PIN function. Now in this submit PIN function, what we are doing is we are going to try to submit the PIN here. And then if it says success, that means like it successfully charged it. We should credit the account. If not, we should return should credit account be false, right? And then this will not be useful. The transaction will not be useful. So I think that's what it looks like. Before we run the code though, there's something else we should do. So you return success true. If you return success false. Sorry, let me go back again. This. If you should get the account with this. If not, submit the PIN. Now submit PIN. Okay, I understand. I may not need the amount on the account ID. Yeah. Just need the reference and the PIN. So if it returns this, you return the error. If not, or let me just not even use the try catch. I just throw it so that the caller function will get it. Oops, this is hectic. Oh boy, no message for me. So we're good. All right. So if not, return blah 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 blah. If this is success, return this. If not, right, return this. So charge card. All right. So let's go back to our charge card function. Right. Result is await submit PIN. So if results but if the success is false for some reason, right, I want to return an error. I want to first abort the transaction actually. So why do I keep saying abort? It's rollback. This is SQL, not MongoDB, right? Oh, yeah. Wanted to be false. Error would be result.error. Cool. But if success is true, right? The next thing we want to check is if should credit user. If you should credit the account, then we're going to now call that function again. So you see, I'm still repeating a lot of code. I'm still going to have to abstract this again and then update the code in the repository. So if you should create the account, await this, and return, right? If not, we are going to return something like, the message will be something like, there is still more validation there. Because in this, as far as this particular tutorial goes, we are only covering PIN, right? So remember their card. So if you use a card that requires OTP here, it will hit this point. So I think our function is done, right? And we can go ahead to test. So this would be a bit complex to test. So what I would do is I would just set breakpoints at like different places and see how it works. So oops, I hope you're like having fun and you're getting what I'm doing. If you're not getting it, please you can just put a comment. So the first thing is this charge function. I'm going to make sure that it gets here. I'm going to make sure that If it's true, just here, I'm going to make sure that this happens and this happens. Also going to make sure that this happens, this happens. I'm just going to set breakpoints like everywhere to be sure that to see how things happen step by step. Right. Yeah, my nose is beautiful. I'm also going to put a breakpoint here. And yeah, put one here, put one here. Oh boy, this is a mess. There's a lot of nested ifs everywhere. We should not get here. All right, so I think we can go ahead and run our code now. Okay, carry on. Awesome. Thank you. I will carry on. So let me call this charge card function and see the progression of the code. I've called the function. Yes, it has hit the first breakpoint. We get the next action that says should create account is false, right? That means the next place you should be getting is here. Actually, it should be here, right? The message is there's a mistake here. God. Okay, if it's false, the message should not be charge attempted. So it means we are returning the wrong thing from process card payment results. Let me see. So I don't think it should be dot message. It should be the data dot. Sorry, let me confirm. Data dot status, not the message. Okay, so that's why I'm making a mistake. It should be the status, not the message. Okay. Let me confirm again. All right, so let's run the code again. Is it just logic for cat pin? Nobody sure. Now, so this thing is crazy work. It's crazy work. It's crazy work. Success is true. Message should not be true. Gosh, what are we doing wrong? Why is the message true? Where is it getting safe? Let me confirm where it is getting. Okay, so the data. Oh, they see an extra data again. Yikes. Is the data? Oh, that's. Oh boy, this is so confusing. The status is simple. Data that saves to us is true. If I do data dot this, so everything should be the data dot your status. I see. Okay, let me just submit the rest of them. Yeah, but this will be wrong though. Okay, yeah, it will have a message. It will data dot message. It's not getting here, but it will get here. Cool. So let's run the code again. It's a long ride. Cool. So it should return message as sent pin. All right. So we should skip here. The next place we should get to should be if it is sent pin. Awesome. That's here. All right. We're making progress. So the next thing to do is check what this returns. Yay, success. but let's not get too excited. Yeah, it's success. So it means yeah, we should credit the awesome. So we'll credit the account, we'll commit, and voila, you ran correctly. Wow, chat successful. So let's check the database. Awesome. So we have a card funding that has its reference, and the external reference is here. We also have it here in these card transactions. We're good. 708. Awesome. So it's correct. Right. Oh, wow. That was wild. That was wild. That was wild. That was wild. Okay. Boy. I deserve a glass of wine. All right. So the code ran correctly, right? We're able to debit the card and also send the pin, right, without response from. I mean, this stream is assuming that your front end is not like you're not doing a front end and back end thing. Assuming that you get, I'm making all these assumptions because I don't want to have to be working. So imagine that while doing this, I have to be working on the route and the API layer. I'll be working on validation and things like that. But I just want to show you the flow of how it actually works, like in real life, right? So what will happen is I would upload this like I would actually just push the code as it is right now. Um, I'll call the branch something like to set up card funding initial code. Then I'll create another branch with the update. And then, yeah, so that everybody can. So if you want to go back to this particular code that we wrote, it's fine. You can go back to it. But later, I will now push another branch with like refactored code. And then you see the refactored code itself. It's been like 2 hours. It's been like 2 hours, and I would like to end the stream here. Um, I don't think there are. Sorry, please give me a moment. Let me confirm something. I want to just confirm that there are no questions on that other link I posted on Twitter. Because I posted a link on Twitter earlier. Where's my Twitter? Like that if people had questions, they could ask at a certain link. SL, is it slido.com? Yeah, sli.do. And then the code is 67880. Sorry, I just want to confirm that. 67880. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I tried. Okay, there's no question there. Awesome. So this has been a long one. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Oops, thank you everybody for joining. This was long, but this was really good. Thank you so much. I mean, I don't even know what else to say, but have a good weekend. Do I do blockchain development? No, I do not. Do I know someone into it? There's this guy, Big Brother. BIGBR. Let me just reply the message. This is his Twitter handle, Big Brother. Yeah, he does blockchain and things. So yeah, you can check you can buzz him on Twitter and tell him that I said the next one who does blockchain. Yeah. So yeah, totally loved it. I loved it too. Thank you. It was stressful. I made sure that I did not do anything before the stream. So I'm doing this like off the top of my head. So and I've not done like card integration or anything in a very long time. So this was refreshing and reminds me why I don't want to do fintech again. All right, so there's an Ethereum dev in the comments. Awesome. So thank you, everybody. This was fun. I will see you at the next. Okay, so what if the system has multiple card providers and one of them doesn't have reference property? Oh, they will always. I mean, they will have some other. This code is not going to handle multiple card service providers yet. There's a lot of gymnastics that is involved in that. So I don't think I won't want to do that on your live stream. That's a lot of suffering. Yeah, but I may attempt it. I don't know. But let's see how it goes. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, I did well. Oh, thanks for the session. Thank you guys. I'm blushing. my God. Don't mind me, don't mind me. Yeah, thank you. So I'll just give like a minute. So I'll leave the stream on for another minute because I know there's a lag between when I speak and when you hear me. So have a good week, or have enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a good week. I should do this again next week, right? So we'll just continue from here. We stop next week. Thank you so much. Thank you.